Hi,
We're
welcome
back.
back. So, my name is Raymond.
Ansley, how are you?
Yeah, I'm the evangelist from Intel, and
Product marketing.
so today I'll be presenting with Adrian and Brian. So they're on the line. Don't worry, you'll see them very soon. And why are you here today? It's about challenge, right? And I do have an open challenge to the community because I've been working on AI for too long, I'll say, to the point that I think we're too isolated, we're too alone, feel lonely, right? Let's see how we can open up this world a little bit better. So let's talk about the agenda quickly. It's a long hour, so get your drinks, go to the bathroom before you start. It'll be a long one, but it'll be a fun one, okay? So let's start with the agenda. We're gonna talk about some fun fact today, and I'll talk about what's open. Like, what does it mean by open, right? And from there are a couple of topics that may excite you, like Google Summer of Code, CVPR, Kaggle, right? All the dev challenges we have. And there we'll bring you to some of the open source repository we built together called OpenVINO Notebooks. You don't know about it today? Yet, don't worry, I'll teach you. And lastly, we have prizes. What's the prize today, Ansley?
A hoodie.
Hoodie. Do you have one right now? No, right? I have one right there. I'll show you how it look like. And we have one extra speaker today to talk about certifications. Why is it important? Well, I think we all love to get a certified badge and look cool, right? And that's why.
Get that job you always wanted, right?
Yeah, dream jobs. And to make it more fun for you, we have exercise. Today, we're not just doing like talking. We'll have fun things. We'll show you live demos, things that you can try at home, or you can follow what we did with the Evangelists. And we have exercise that related to NLP as well. So if you missed the other webinar, don't worry. We're going to teach you a little bit more here today. We'll talk about how you can do question answering. And guess what? This one is so cool because if you ever did SAT test, this may be your answer. And if we have extra time, we may do human action recognition as well, depending on our time. Before you start, there's a Q&A down there. You see, look at the screen. Ask us anything at any time. I'll try my best to answer the questions. And feel free to use the chat so you can talk to others throughout this whole time. All right, so step one, I'll start with a question in the pool. It's a hard question. Are you ready? Do you know how many developers are there in the world? Well, let's start with the pool questions. If you get it right, there's no prize yet, but there's more prize coming up.
Just bragging rights.
Bragging rights, yeah.
How many developers are in the world?
Yeah.
What's your guess?
5, 25, 25. Us coming. I see someone coming in. 75, 35. No one said 5 for real? I don't want to bias them.
Some are now saying 5.
I'm sorry. So I have 10 more seconds for this. Then we got to see what they look like. So a lot of people think they are like, let me see the count. I can't see the number. There
75 million.
Yeah, most people think there are 75 million of us. Let's see if that is really the case. All right. Okay, most people think it's 75. Let's see what we got. So right now, let me search how many developers are there in the world. I think that's the easiest answer I can find right now.
Let me Google that for you.
It's about 26. So 27. That's in 2022 they did this survey, but I don't think we doubled this number in the last year. So in the ballpark, 25, 27 million is the number we have. But if I narrowed it down to say how many AI developers are there in this world, guess what? We're talking about merely maybe 500,000 at max. And that's not a good number, right? Like there's not many of us can help you to solve problems in AI. So what can we do better here? So, well, let's see. Well, before we talk about that problem, talk about like, what are they doing? Like we have so many developers, right? Like there are 27 million of them. What are they doing in this world today? You want to guess? I'm not doing a pool, but you can almost guess that most of them are right now doing maybe the web stuff. Like right now you're watching some of this. There's a web developer behind the scene, the developer that may be doing the back end. But you can see one thing that's I think want to catch attention is the Python developer. Like what do they use it for most of the time? Machine learning, maybe deep learning, maybe some different type of that. And I think it's important that we see that momentum from the market. Like if you are from, let's say, university today, you're learning machine learning, very, very likely you'll be using Python. And that's important because today's your lucky day. I will be talking about Python. If you know Python, hands up, you're the lucky person. If not, that's okay. We'll get you the certification to get started. See, we covering you. All right. So now before that, let's think about this, what it means to us, right? Think about this is everyone in the world, in the globe. Developer are pretty much like rare find. If you go to a supermarket, you may find one of them in the whole, I cannot say supermarket name, right? But you'll see one of the supermarket, that's barely one of them. And from there, we did the math, it's about 0.35% in the population that knows how to program. So of course, I don't assume my grandma knows how to program too, so you know the math. And I don't assume you're 5 years old can do the programming too. So, but I know, but at the end, you see, this is very hard to find. But when you bring this into the world of AI people, okay, that's the 1%. Do you see where the AI developer in this graph? Can you find them? That's exactly the problem we're dealing with. From that, all developer, we nail down to the 1%. And that's why at Intel, we've been thinking about this a lot. Like when I joined Intel 2 years ago, I think almost 2 years, right?
Yeah,
it's 2 years ago. I was like, oh, I'm the evangelist. How can I tell everyone that AI is cool? But when people don't even know what AI can do, right? So I come up with a solution that Intel came up with. I'll say, I really like the ideas, OpenVINO, right? Make it easy to use and accessible. So today, when I do demo for AI, I actually run on my laptops, right? Any laptops that have x86, maybe even beyond, I can just get it running. And that's great because I do demo on the road just like this. Hey, Ray, you want to see something cool? It's like, here, just run on my laptop. And that really changed the way it was. Like when I was doing my PhD back then, oh my God. I was basically in my lab hacking overnight just to get one line of code working because there's no one actually have libraries, right? I wish
it
Intel
wasn't
back
that
then,
long ago. You're not.
I'm not that old. I'm sorry, but I will talk about maybe 8 years ago.
Yeah.
The world changed a lot, and today, if I talk to someone to talk about AI, we have TensorFlow, we have PyTorch, we have these tools coming together, and more importantly, with OpenVINO, now you're gluing this together with the performance that you need to run on something much more portable. I remember my first problem was to recognize fingertips on my depth sensor, and I did my classification of gesture all by myself using MATLAB. It was like, I was the only one doing it. But today, I can go to Model OpenStreet and download this model. What a life-saving time, right? And that's why today I would like to bring my guest speakers. Adrian, are you here?
I am here. Hi, Raymond.
Oh my God,
Hi, Ansley.
Oh, right there, you pop up.
Hi.
Hi, Adrian, how are you doing?
I'm fine,
Where are
thanks.
you now, Adrian?
I am in Poland.
Poland. You're in Poland?
Such a
You're
global
London?
team.
I thought it's London.
Yeah.
No, it's Poland. Warsaw.
It's Poland. All right.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, Adrian is one of our evangelists in Europe. And definitely, I don't know the map well enough. He was at London just last week. Now he's in Poland. So how's the weather there?
It's rainy today.
Okay.
Oh.
You should come to California. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I will do that next week.
Next week, yeah, we are meeting at CVPR. We're gonna talk about that next. But today, let's talk about one thing that we both did together. The reason I brought Adrian over is we both did a lot of community kind of side of work, open source projects. So I remember you did summer project before. Can you tell a little bit like the story about that project with the audience?
Google Summer of Code, you mean, of course.
Yeah, exactly. One of the many. Yeah, beyond that too.
Yeah, 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, I was part of Inkscape project. So I was contributor during Google Summer of Code. So my project was to develop a new way of selecting objects inside Inkscape. Inkscape is a program to develop vector graphics. So if you would like to select some objects
I
like stars
did my whole
and
thesis on that tool. I'm not
other
kidding.
shapes, you are using my selection tool now.
Wait, so you
Very
did
cool.
that for real? I didn't know. I used
Wow.
that tool to draw all my diagrams in my
Yeah,
thesis
I
because
didn't
it's
know
free,
that.
open source, it get updated. So you're one of the contributors.
Yes, the new version of selection tool underneath is my implementation.
Okay. Again, that's great. That's why you have amazing background to come and join Intel, right? I'm so glad. I didn't know that. Very seriously. All right. But I think that also answers some of the questions that we bring aboard here is like, what's OpenVINO doing for the open source community, right? We have a lot of effort that a lot of people may not know or may never heard about it because we'll be doing the hero behind the scene. But today, let's talk about the heroes a little bit, okay?
You're the hero, Adrian.
Adrian, all right. So I'll say less than half a year ago, Adrian and I came together. He talked about, Ray, we should do Google some of code. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, well, I did it too. We did it together, right? But in a different time. I did about more than 10 years ago. We did it, I don't know, 6 years ago? Was it 6 years ago?
6.
Yeah, so we both finished that program and we find that it's actually one of the best way to work with students and teach them how to be contributors in the open source community. And again, you may have missed it already. We already accepted students this year, but don't worry, we're coming back again for sure. We don't know yet, but we have this program in place today because we want to teach people to say how to farm, how to fish, right? I mean, like the one like always fishing, getting the source code, but I'd rather teach others to make that dish for me later because they can be the resource for the community. So can you tell us more about Google Summer of Code? Maybe a lot of people may not even know what the program is about.
Yes, of course. So Google Summer of Code is a global online program focused on bringing new contributors into open source community. So these contributors work on projects during 12 weeks period, and they are mentored by more experienced developers. So why is it important? Well, you are not able to implement everything yourself, and you need to have a community to support you with this. And of course, community has also great ideas and can bring you more features. So of course, coding together gives more fun. So I think it's important to bring new contributors to open source community, and Google Summer of Code is very important program to do it.
And it's been around for 17 years, so a lot of you may have already tried. If you're one of the students before, leave us a message. We should be like chatting today because you're one of the special one too. But if not, keep following us what we're doing there. So do you mind maybe explain how the program works and then how does it like help the community in general? Let's go more in depth into this. First, I think we have something like the page here that people can find us right now. This is basically the OpenVINO toolkit page for Google Summer of Code. So there we actually post some ideas, right? Adrian, tell us about the idea. What does it even mean having ideas there?
So there are our ideas. So we propose something. So what we would like to have in our OpenVINO toolkit in the future. And then people can select these ideas for this year and they create their applications and then apply for the program. Then we assess these applications and finally choose some contributors for this year.
So we have a mentor basically and a contributor relationship, am I right?
Yes, exactly.
And
every project has own mentor, at least one mentor.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm teaching people how to code because, as I said, it's in my brain now. It's not useful if I forget it. So I basically pass it along to the next person so they can keep iterating this. Mm-hmm. And also, since it's open source, we actually don't own the project. I mean, at the end, they can actually redistribute it any way they like. So although it's our idea, but it's our idea that contributes to the open source community and people can take over it. It's under the Apache 2 license right now. We're doing it. Am I right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so that's the great thing about this program because now everyone can try something new. So maybe I have more questions for you. Well, for the audience, if there are any questions for Adrian, it's the best time to ask because like maybe may not be exact relevant experience with you, but it's a good time to ask us anything that you would like to know. So beyond that, I think, well, Google Summer Course 1, but we're going to CVPR, right? You going? I know, I saw your demo. So let me talk about CVPR quickly for all of you. Thank you again, Adrian, and then I'll see you next week for sure. And we'll invite Adrian back for demos. Just get ready. Get your demo set up, Adrian.
See you then.
All right, so back to us. So CVPR, I think you're going to?
Yeah, New Orleans.
Yes,
Exciting.
so, well, again, what is CVPR, right? Let me answer the basics again. CVPR is one of the, I'll say, the premium conference for computer vision. CV stands for computer vision. And then PR, pattern recognition. Oh, I didn't get it wrong, right? I didn't even know how to check it. But again, that is a very, very important conference to, I think, academia, but also for the industry, because that's where all the cutting edge stuff are coming from. And this year, we're very luckily getting selected to speak there for a tutorial session. So me and Evangelist, you can see like we're global now, right? And Evangelist Paula will be there speaking about how to get your, let's say, deep learning model and all this running efficiently on the edge, like your laptop or even on the server. So we have that topic coming up. And there's a reason why we spend a lot of time on this too, as an investment of our time, is to show the audience, like our professors, students, to see the value even in the research settings, because maybe you don't need to always buy the most expensive hardware to run something deployable. And that's one of the message we want to give to everyone. And there, we have all evangelists showing you all the cool demos so that you can try yourself. So how does it look like as a, for example, in this case, if you're joining that tutorial virtually, you're actually welcome to join it too. If you're there in person, definitely say hi to me and give me a thumbs up if you're there. So this is a session where we'll teach people how to use the tool, but at the same time, we're gonna give them the hands-on lab. So you're not just like going like fly by blind, but we will have example after example that teach you piece by piece. And for the community, I think, well, you've done a lot of, let's say, marketing effort, right?
Mhm.
What does developer like usually?
They like open source.
They like open source. They like trying themselves.
They like free code.
They like free code. So that we do exactly that, and we do have an after party, so we get free drinks as well.
Oh, free drinks, swag,
So,
you know.
Swag, yeah. So these are great things that's coming up right there. So again, for all of you that into that program, come and see us there, and we're very glad to be there because it's one of those premium opportunity for us to talk about what we love.
Very exciting.
Yes. Now, what's the hour look like? I need to bring in Ryan. Yes. So Ryan, so we kind of trying to introduce you a little bit. How about give like a 1 or 2 line? What do you do at Intel?
Yeah, so I'm a product manager at Intel for the OpenVINO toolkit, and most important part of my job is making sure that we build a product that is satisfying the needs of our customers. And our most important customers are developers, right? So the people like you who are building applications that use OpenVINO, that run on Intel architecture, you are our top priority. So any feedback, please send it our way. We want to make the product better and deliver for you.
Well, that's why we talk about the GitHub, because you're behind a lot of these efforts. So when I first joined Intel, I was talking to Ryan, where do you put my stuff? It's a big problem because when you have an open source community, you have to be organized. Otherwise, well, you have to document your work, you have to prove your point that it works, CI. So Ryan brought me along and then make the whole project alive. Because if I post something, guarantee it doesn't work. I mean it. It only works on my machine, right? So Ryan, let's talk about the GitHub. What can you say about that quickly?
Yeah, sure. So let me just go ahead and share my screen. So you've talked a little bit now about open source. Everything that we do with OpenVINO is open source, mostly under Apache license that allows modification, redistribution, commercial use. And we really want to have a community where people are engaged, contributing, and helping us build OpenVINO together. And so you can see there's a few different repos. We've talked about some of them already. OpenVINO that has our core runtime and our developer tools in this OpenVINO repo. There's a model server, so for serving models over a network endpoint, managing your models in production, so doing live updates, things like that, you can do with the model server. There's a neural network compression framework. This is for doing in-training quantization on top of PyTorch or TensorFlow, so that you can, if you have a training pipeline set up with your own data using TensorFlow or PyTorch, you can just, on top of the training pipeline, apply quantization algorithms, compression algorithms that make your model go faster on Intel. We also have an open model zoo, which we're going to talk a little bit more about in this session. This is over 300 open source and pre-trained models that are provided by Intel that we train with data and then we provide to you for free under an open source license so that you can experiment with them or use them for your applications, things like person detection, vehicle detection, speech recognition. There's a lot of different examples and we'll talk more about it later. And OpenVINO training extensions. This also helps if you've got a data set and you don't know what model you want to use yet for your application. OTE or training extensions can help you with that. And there'll be a session at CVPR that Raymond mentioned to talk about that more.
Right.
The
So I
OpenVINO
see like
notebooks. Yep.
Yeah. So Ryan,
Go ahead.
so you have that comprehensive tool, right? Which one would I start first then, if I'm new?
Yeah, so if you're new, we've created sort of one single repository that has tutorials that show you how to get started. So this is Jupyter Notebooks, and so you can see that, you know, if you go into this Notebooks folder, there's several different examples that show you how to use OpenVINO through our Python API. And we have installation guides that can help you get started, whether you're running Windows, Linux, Mac OS. Really all that you need is an Intel CPU to get started with these tutorials, and then you can start learning how to do quantization, use the auto plugin, GPU plugin, run, you know, inference workloads on the integrated GPU in your laptop. And so there's a number of examples, but if you just go ahead and if you've got a Windows laptop or Ubuntu on a laptop, a server, just follow these instructions and they'll help you get started. It's really just step-by-step, copy, paste. If you can follow these steps, you can get it up and running and get some tutorials that show you how to use OpenVINO. So they're grouped in sort of steps here.
That's your dog, right?
We all love Coco.
That's Coco. She's
so
sitting
that's part
on
of
her
the
bed
contribution.
next to me. Yeah. Yeah, so
the
if you want to learn how to
contribution, even your dog is contributing. Free to use.
Yeah, she works really hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so there's a few examples. Yeah, taking pictures and videos of my dog was probably the most exciting part of this is getting to have some sample data. So, you know, Coco, she's a dog. She doesn't have to worry about, you know, privacy laws and things like that. So
you can sign a PMR. Sorry, keep going. All right.
So if you want to learn how to use our go ahead.
For the audience though, like make sure you listen to this very carefully because to win the hoodie, this is part of the challenge right here. Just to ramp up everyone. This is very important. Let's keep going, Ryan.
Yeah, sure. So we've organized this repository in such a way that you can find resources to get started if you just want to learn how to use our API. And one of the great things about the new release that just came out, 2022.1, which we're highlighting today, there's a new API and for Python and C++. So when you want to move, you prototype in Python, you decide you want to move to C++, the namespaces, the classes in C++, they're so similar now to Python. It's just a really seamless transition if you want to use C++. So there's a tutorial that teaches you about our API. Really recommend, you know, starting with that, learn a bit about our API, how it works. And if you decide to move on to C++ later, you'll have a head start. There's also some examples that show how to do things like image segmentation, object detection, how to convert models using our tools. If you want to go from TensorFlow or PyTorch or Paddle and generate the OpenVINO format, there's tutorials that are self-guided that show you how to do that. There's also how to use the Open Model Zoo tool. So we have tools that help you just quickly download the models from Open Model Zoo, get started right away, and there's a tutorial on that. So if you go through all these different sections, there's some demos. You can do everything from detecting kidneys to speech recognition, question answering, and you know, OCR, doing even for different languages like Japanese and Chinese. Then there's some model training examples. They show how to use our quantization-aware training tools, how to go from the full end-to-end pipeline for training and inference. And then there's some that let you use your webcam, and these are really fun. So if you want to just turn on your laptop webcam, use your CPU or integrated GPU inside your laptop, you can do object detection, hold up things like, you know, a soda can or a bottle and
will have
do
demo
detection.
there.
So that's the part that's going to be fun.
We'll show you all this today. Thank you, Ryan. I think that's very important, I think, for a lot of people. And you can see it support a lot of different OS, work with many different versions of Python. Not the latest one yet. We're working on it. I know, we know. We're working on it. But more importantly, this will run immediately on your laptop.
What a great resource. This is such an awesome thing to do.
Right.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Take a look at the GitHub. Put a star, by the way. The more star you put, the more likely, if once you reach 1,000, we're going to have our celebration. All right. So thank you again, Ryan. As you see just now, I think it's important that everyone notice the notebooks is one of the very strong effort that we put for developer to give it a try. So if you try it, you will win a hoodie today. And we'll talk about that. So right now, when we think about installation, it's a 3 steps. So again, just first specific, you install the virtual environment, you clone the repository, you copy and paste basically. You do the pip install, basically 1 line of code. It will handle all the dependencies for you. And you run it by running this last step, Jupyter. And that will boot up the rest of the screen. It looks very simple, and I would like to have my Adrian back. Adrian, are you back? Are you here?
I am
here. Give me
yes.
this real dance right here.
I am back.
All right. So the next step is we'll do some exercise together. We talk about this a lot. I want to see your screen and show me that you can dance in front of a camera.
I hope so.
By the way, that's you, right?
Yes, I am here and I am there.
Yep. All right. So for the audience, what we're seeing right now is a live demo that from Adrian's laptop. So he'll be running one of the very first demo you saw.
Yes. Yes, this is the first demo I created here at Intel.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So this is
it
live.
The second? Hold on.
Yeah.
Object detection first. No, just kidding. Keep going.
No. This was my first demo.
That's great.
Yes.
Let's go.
So we are going to run live human pulse estimation with OpenVINO. So I'm going through code to explain what I am doing here. So firstly, we need to import some packages in Python, especially OpenVINO here. So this is new API. So we are importing OpenVINO runtime, core from OpenVINO runtime. Then we need to download our model, and we are using human pulse estimation from OpenModelZoo. OpenModelZoo is a specific repository when we have a lot of pre-trained and optimized models available for everyone to download and use. So if you would like to use any models from this, just visit our OpenModelZoo repository. Alternatively, you can use OMZ Downloader. It's a command line tool from OpenVINO development package. You can use this tool to download any model from this OpenModelZoo. And I am using this command line tool to download this human pulse estimation model in precision floating point 16 int 8. It means this model was converted to OpenVINO and quantized. Why that? Because we would like to have as good performance as possible. So that's why we quantized this model. And this model is already converted and quantized, so we don't need to do anything else. Just download this model. Then, when the model is downloaded, we need to initialize OpenVINO, then read the model from the files on the disk, then compile model for specific device, in this case CPU. So we are going to use our CPU, no need for any specific fancy hardware, just CPU. And then we are getting input and output names of nodes to, of course, feed our network and get the results from output nodes. Then get input size of the network, printing some names of the network input and output nodes. Then we are creating OpenPose decoder because this model comes from OpenPose. So the result from the network are very raw. So there are heat maps, not like skeletons, not joins. There are heat maps. So we need to decode this heat map, and we are going to use this decoder. And this decoder comes from OpenModel as well, because in OpenModel there are not only models, there are also some demos demonstrating how to use this model. So this decoder comes from there, and we are going to use it. Then some useful functions like pulling 2D in NumPy and heat map non-maximum suppression, post-processing results, so creating poses and scores from these raw results. Then some functions, some colors for skeleton, some definition of the skeleton, and some function to draw these poses on the image. And then
Adrian, show me the results. I'm so excited.
Yes, and then main processing function, the last function,
right
before I'm going to show you the results. So main processing function, we are creating video player to play some stream. It could be webcam stream, it could be video file, getting frame by frame here, then resizing this frame to fit neural network input size, then creating batch size equals 1, doing inference here with time measurement and getting results from here, post-processing these results to create poses and scores, of course, draw poses on the image, calculating mean processing time, put this mean processing time on the screen, and show everything here directly in the notebook. And let's see the results. Yes, so I am here. My cable is not so long, so I cannot go back, but as you can see, my skeleton
raise the roof.
Raise the roof. Yeah. you can drop the cable and then go dance. No, just kidding. But yeah, it works pretty well.
It works.
What's the FPS that you're getting though? Like, so, is it like you're live streaming, or what's happening there?
Yes, I am live streaming on this computer. So my computer is heavy loaded, and I have 100 millisecond, what gives 9 frames per second. But I would like to show you something that now I am using just CPU. But let's see what performance we will get if I just change one line of code from CPU to GPU. So as you can see, I am changing just one letter, one character.
Yeah.
And now the startup time is a little bit longer, but I think it's worth to wait for that. Let's wait
and
a little bit.
We have auto plugin as well.
I think. See that?
Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that as well. But Adrian, so I think a lot of people may ask, like, what about on the Gen 12, right? On the latest CPU, what kind of things what do you expect from this? I tried myself. I got over 60 FPS, by the way. Right?
Yes,
so that's one of my tests I did. Yeah.
This
so
CPU,
for our audience here,
this CPU I'm using now, it's 10th gen, so it's like 2 years old. So it's not newest one. If you use 12th gen, the newest Intel CPU, you could have even more than, as you said, 60 frames per second. But of course, what's important, I think, I know what was the problem. Yeah, it was playing video file below, so that's That's
we can tell this is live video.
Yeah. And some
Yeah,
of you
that's
might know
why
12th
we-
gen is Alder Lake, just so you know.
Yes. And that's a challenge today. I want people to try on their own laptop, because we show you the older generation for purpose today is we're backward compatible.
Yeah.
And forward compatible. And
Yeah,
I would
and-
like to see everyone's FPS, because like on my older machine and newer machine, the performance are so much better too. I think I recommend everyone to upgrade.
And I think what's important, you don't have to have even the newest Intel CPU. Even if you have like 2 years old, 3 years old, you still have enough performance for most applications.
Works on the device you have.
Yes. So, all right, I will let you run that a little bit.
Yeah, let's wait for the results. Just changing one line of code. I didn't buy any new hardware in that time. My hands are here, no money inside, so I didn't buy anything. Let's
all right.
So let's see the performance.
Yeah. And if the wait time is concerning for people, we actually talk about the auto plugin today. So the auto plugin is actually one way to hide some of the latency. But now as it's running.
Yes, and look, the results are 16 frames per second. Just changing one line of code. I am utilizing my GPU, which I have inside my CPU. It's integrated into my CPU, so it's inside my processor. So, you know, it's not any additional discrete GPU card. I am utilizing whatever I have inside. And 16 frames per second is twice as good as before. I think it's great. It's great result.
It's a great start. And for the audience, we purposely put it slower because I want to see your big numbers. If you have bigger machines, slightly a little bit more beefy, you will be very impressed on what we can get. So that's awesome. We have more demo to come. The next one, we're going to show the NLP, am I right?
Yes, exactly. So to prove you that OpenVINO is not only for computer vision, we have the next demo, interactive question answering. So NLP, text processing, and so on. So let's run this demo as well and explain some code along the way. So almost the same imports, especially OpenVINO here and some other packages. Okay, let's stop for now and let's scroll up. And OpenVINO, especially OpenVINO, and of course NumPy and other Python packages. Then we are using the same OMZ downloader to download model from Open Model Zoo. This time we are going to download BERT small uncased whole word masking squad int8 version 2 in floating point 16 int8. So it's also quantized version of BERT model. And this model is also converted and quantized, so we don't need to convert it ourselves. Then almost the same code, we are going to initialize OpenVINO, read model from the disk, compile model for CPU, then get input and output names of nodes, get input size. And processing is a little bit different, of course. We don't have computer vision, we have NLP here, so we are loading vocabulary, we are defining special tokens like padding tokens, separation tokens, and so on. Then we need to load our function to load our context. So because to answer question, we need to have some context. We cannot take answer from the space. We need to have some context like knowledge. So we will use some paragraphs or Wikipedia pages to have knowledge there.
Yep. So I think you have a hard question you're gonna ask at the end of this demo, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
OpenVINO, right?
Yes, what is OpenVINO? This is a very hard question.
It's a hard question, right? All right.
You tell us.
You tell us. So for audience, I think the key is these are demos that lay out all the documentation, as you can see from Adrian. You can read it carefully. We spent a lot of time on documenting this so that you don't have to invent everything. You can copy and paste the code and build something on it. Let's see the results. I think Yeah, that's very detailed and descriptive. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Then we have some preparation. If you would like to learn more, there are some description. You can find this notebook in our repository. Post-processing, of course, as usual, function to guess best answer. And let's see the results. So firstly, let's run on this short paragraph about computational complexity theory. And we can ask one of our sample questions like, what is the term for a task that generally lends itself to being solved by a computer? So I'm going
That's
to
a hard question. I don't understand that question.
This question here, and after 0.2 seconds, we have the answer, and the answer is a computational problem. And I think
Voila.
Voila. All right.
the answer is correct. The score 0.5. It doesn't mean it's not probability. It's just score. The higher, the better. That's the rule. And the same.
So you have the hard one now. I see the OpenVINO question.
Yes, and let's ask the question about OpenVINO. So here we are putting the URL for Wikipedia with OpenVINO, and let's ask about license for OpenVINO. So what is the license for OpenVINO?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Apache license version. Apache license version 2.0. And this is correct.
That's great. Well, I think for the audiences, you can also switch the Wikipedia page to point at something else. Why don't we something with the Intel? Maybe try the Intel website and ask a question from Intel website. Not Intel website, Intel Wikipedia. That's a hard one. It's a super long page. It will be a long processing time. Am I right?
Yes, it will be longer.
So change the last word to OpenVINO to Intel, I think.
Yes, exactly. So let's change to Intel.
And ask a question, again. Who's the CEO, maybe? That's like, if you get it wrong, we're in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Question mark.
Okay, let's see if there is.
It will take a while to process. It's a super long page, but let's see if this thing can figure out from, let's say, a couple thousand characters here, a couple thousand words, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. We'll wait for the suspense when this is crunching that super long page there. All right. There's some question from the audience. Oh dear.
There is answer, and this is the previous CEO.
That's
We're live.
Relax.
We're live.
It was part of the answer. It's correct. Okay, now you can ask who's the current CEO, because just who's the CEO. I think you can ask it again, but with the Intel.
Someone needs to update that page.
Yes.
Yeah.
But interestingly, it's answering not someone else.
Yeah.
It didn't say someone else, so that's good. But now I think for you to try is to see. We have one more demo. Do we have enough time? I think we barely have enough time. Let's go for it quickly. Again, Adrian, I would like you to try it without explaining for the last one. I want people to see what you get out from the actions detections.
Okay, so let's go to the 403 human action recognition. So this is another live demo. So we are going to use our webcam. I'm going to, I need to change, I think, my source number, to 1, and I'm going to run the code. Once again, the code is very similar to before. So we have imports, of course, we have OMZ downloader, then we have some initialization part, reading, compiling, and so on. So I don't want to spend a lot of time here. I would like to show you results. And so let's scroll down to, to video. Of course, all these live demos work with webcam and work with video files. So if you don't have your webcam, you can use any video file. Like here, this is a video from NASA, I think, if I remember correctly, or
yes, it's NASA. I pulled that.
Not NASA.
It's from
NASA. NASA. Okay. Yes. So this is you can use this video file, or we can use, of course, live demo as well. The initialization time here is a little bit long. It's not problem with OpenVINO or this notebook. It's problem with my webcam. I don't know why, but with
don't say the
this
name
webcam,
of the webcam, okay? Make sure you don't say the name
no,
of the
no,
webcam.
no, no, no,
You're in the technology
no.
world, okay? Just like
yes,
yeah,
yes.
we know
But this
webcam
webcam,
driver issues.
no. This webcam with this Windows initialization time is long. It works perfectly with Linux. I don't know what the problem with with this Windows, but let's wait a little bit and it will work.
Yeah. But I think what you're seeing here again is an example of we will be running live demo on a laptop, and this one is a sequential like sequence of frame to recognize an action. So you see like a single frame detection kind of method, like a frame by frame gesture, or like a human pose. You see NLP, and now you see all these different components that you see them a lot in different startups too, basically. But as you run, like what you gotta do this time? You gotta maybe shave, applying cream.
Applying cream, look, it works.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think you want to do some dishes and all that too.
One more.
I remember this one can know if you can do dishes, shaving beards, drying your hair,
drinking water.
or drinking water. Is it drinking water? Oh, that's good. It'll keep you hydrated.
Drinking, it works.
Yep. So, all right, again, thank you, Adrian. We're running out of time. But before you go, let's talk about the Hoodie Challenge because we want the audience to actually know how to take some of this home. Right? So we did all the fun tasks just now. Let's go to the Hoodie Challenge. So what is it, Hoodie Challenge, Adrian?
It's a challenge that where you can win a hoodie. Nice hoodie. So what you need to do, I think, Ray, you have instructions.
Instructions. I know, screenshot everyone. I know it's long. I have to get through a lot of the legal part to get this right. So let's get through this quickly. So you, as a participant, you have to try the notebooks first to get it installed and run the human pose or was it and or? Let me make sure I read it right. The human pose, right? And post a video or GIF. Video or GIF is the same thing. Moving frame of this work to your social media. It can be LinkedIn, anything that you tag with OpenVINO, because that's the only way I can find you, right? And once you post it and put OpenVINO, the people with the most number of likes and all that, you will get a hoodie.
And 10 lucky winners will get one. So that's awesome.
Yep. Very likely you will win one because you are one of the very special one. And thank you again, Adrian. I know it was a lot of fun. I pulled you on really hard demos on your laptop last minute. Thank you for doing all this for us.
Thanks, Adrian.
Thank you.
Yep. So we have a little bit of time. So quickly just go through the call to actions. So you learn about the demo. You learn about how to run all this. That's why we talk about this today. We want contribution, right? I think contribution is what makes us stronger as a whole community, as a team, right? And all of these, as Intel, we're doing this for free and open source with Apache. Mm-hmm. So we're looking for more, let's say, contribution from you. If you have your idea, you want to come contribute to us, make your pull request. And that's where you can get people to talk to your work. And that's how I learn as an engineer. I always suck at what I'm doing until people tell me that I suck and I improve it. And that's actually an iteration that we need.
Yeah, show us the great stuff you can make.
Yep. And we, as a team, today you met Adrian just now in the middle. I'm the guy with the laptop right there or the tablet. We have Joel. We have this team that actually built a lot of this work for you to try. If you're interested, go watch some of the video we made about how to solve some of the AI challenges ourselves. So I actually built a code that you can try it out. And we talk about OCR, object detection, and landmark detection, all these cool things you can try. And if you like it, thumbs up. If you don't like it, please talk to me. All right? So that's how we get improvement, right?
Yeah, we want to hear from you.
Yes. We're not done yet. For all of you that also want to be, let's say, certified, today I'm going to introduce our last speaker, Carmen. She will talk about our certification program. Hi, Carmen.
Hi, Carmen.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you doing?
Coming from Portland.
Good. Yes, it's a beautiful sunny day in Portland.
Mm-hmm. I know we're running short on the hours, though, but I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. So I am the program manager for the Edge AI certification program. At Intel, we went ahead and we put together this career-focused certification program for developers to help them navigate this landscape of ever-changing technology. We know that you guys are busy, that there's always a lot of noise, and it's always a journey of ongoing education being a developer. You guys are juggling your job, your family, trying to have a life, and then at the same time you're having to keep up to date with all of this technology. And so we put together this certification program to help navigate that landscape. We basically are trying to inspire developers to build the future on Intel AI. And we've seen some amazing things that folks have done with Intel Edge AI, like creating wheelchairs that are navigated by facial expressions, anti-poaching detection devices, or accelerated disaster area mapping. And so we're truly, truly inspired by all of the amazing things that developers can build. And we're hoping that the certification program will help you guys navigate the space and become empowered to start building Edge AI solutions. So our certification program is fairly straightforward. We have a foundations course that will get you started. All you got to do is sign up to, and I'll put the link in the chat here, intel.ly/Edge AI cert. Sign up. It's a self-paced certification program. The whole foundations course, you can chop it up into little bits. It'll get you the basics under your belt, and then you get to get your hands dirty. We have real world projects, real world hands-on experiences with courses such as brain tumor segmentation, industrial worker safety, retail loss prevention, and it's an evergreen program, so it's constantly evolving. We keep on coming up with new hands-on experiences for you guys to dig into. So, as soon as we come up with new courses, we'll send out an announcement. Currently, the program is available in English and Mandarin, and we'll be launching in other languages fairly soon.
I can speak Mandarin.
Yay!
Yeah, that's nice. That's
so
good coverage there. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Why should you go for it? Well, you'll be part of a growing community of Intel Edge AI certified developers. You get a digital credential that you could put on your resume. You could share on your social networks or your professional networks. And like Ray was saying, you'll end up becoming one of his 1% of 1%, essentially.
Yeah. The cream of the crop.
The cream of the crop. So it's a gamified learning experience. So essentially, as you guys, if you don't have the internal motivation for getting more money, for upskilling and pivoting your career or keeping up to date, if gamification is an incentive for you, you will get Intel chips, which are kind of our points for every, an Intel chip. It's cute. For every video that you watch or quiz that you do, you will get a certain amount of chips that you could then redeem for swag, digital gift cards. You could donate it to your favorite nonprofit. Just for downloading OpenVINO, if you register for the Intel Edge AI certification and you download OpenVINO at intel.ly/OpenVINO, you get 500 chips. So
it's very brand aligned chips, eh?
Yeah,
CPU chips company.
The gaming team uses Chippy.
That's good. And I saw that. I actually went through that redeem. You can even get coffee out from it. So it's quite inspiring. At least I can get a coffee out from that.
Get rewarded for this boot camp.
Right.
There's a leaderboard too, and we have all kinds of different little challenges you could do to get extra chips. So if that wasn't incentive enough, we also, starting today, we have a 30-day challenge, which essentially means that if you guys sign up for the certification program today and you finish within 30 days, you will enter in a chance to win tons of cool prizes. Laptop, backpack, game pack. You can check out all the details on devchallenge.intel.com/NA_30_start.
We'll put
I
the
know how
link in
you.
the chat.
I know how
Can
you
you
read it out. I will memorize it. Don't worry.
Can you please put the link in the chat? That would be
We'll
great.
put the link down there.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of audience here may not know is we put this effort is because we believe that you put so much time to learn should be rewarding experience. I know Carmen is like the advocate for making it fun. Like I know how hard it is to learn something new, but I'm so glad you're putting the effort to make it more interesting for a lot of people. Because like no one wants to read a textbook, right? Want to try things, right? All the labs and all that. I see, it's amazing there. It's great.
Exactly. And you get this whole hands-on experience on DevCloud for the Edge. You get to try, you can try all of the different Jupyter notebooks available on the Model Zoo that we talked about earlier. And it's truly, it's important to have a hands-on experience for sure, and just get your hands dirty. And then, so just, again, you guys have 30 days to do it. I strongly encourage you to give it a shot. Even if you don't do it within 30 days, like I said, it's a self-paced course. So just, give it a shot. And we actually also have, a very attentive forum if you have any questions, and we'll be able to help you out. So.
Great.
Yeah. Right.
Well, again, Carmen, I'm so glad we worked together for almost 2 years. I saw you put a lot of love into this program. I know it's very rough that to kick off something like for the community, and that's why we're here presenting to the community, and we'll listen back. If you want more of this demo, less of that, let us know. Carmen will be there. I remember running the Hoodie Challenge last time. People was like, "Can I do something differently?" There we go. We're listening. Again, thank you again, Carmen. I gotta close it off very quickly. And before we go, let's bring everyone back on the screen because we have like all the speakers here, right? Is Ryan here? Yep. Again, it's a full house today. You can see we put a lot of effort. Even Ainsley and I sitting here to give you this quick presentation. And the reason behind this is I am a true believer of this slide. Again, I'll show you one more time. This slide is about, it's not just me. It's about what? It's beyond me. I want the 10%, not the 1% of us, right? If we all giving this message to your friends, one day it's not just you talking about AI. It will be everyone around you, the work, everything will be using this to solve problems. And that's amazing because once you can solve problem efficiently, you can free up the time to do something more important for the mankind. Right? You don't want to keep doing laundry. You can have a laundry machine doing the machine work, and you spend that time to cook better food, maybe, to get a better diet, right? So you want to take away some of that and having more people in this community. Again, we have all the link in the chat. You can watch us on YouTube. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, so many things.
Yeah.
And again, for people who want to join the Hoodie Challenge, I'll give you one last time for the slide. You can do a screenshot of it. Snapshot this and make sure you tag OpenVINO. All right. If you don't tag it, I cannot find you. I don't know how to give you the gift. All right. Again, thank you very much for everyone's time. It's been a long journey for me, for sure. 2 years in the Intel, and I'm looking forward to see more of everyone's. Okay. I want to see your work. I want to see all the comments you have.
Yeah. Share it with us. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.